right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Anime Bros. We're gonna be wrapping up Bleach today. This is gonna be the third edition of the Bleach series for us. We left off last time. Orihime had just gotten captured by Aizen, and then Ichigo was getting ready to go into Wako Mundo with his posse and try and get her back. And then we actually finished the show, so we got a lot to cover in this episode.
I mean, you already know that he had to go save the main heroine, right? He wasn't just going to let that slide.
Yeah, he went in there. He brought Uryuu and Chad, his main guys, and Chad was a little less useless, I think, because he did get one win that I can remember. He powered up. He got the shield on his arm, and I think he beat up one of the Arrancar, but then he kind of got slaughtered by the next guy he fought.
To be fair though, I thought Chad went through 2 fights before he met that guy.
Maybe what was that Espada's name? It was like Nokitora or something.
Oh yeah. No, he ran into him and he was finished. But he helped with the sand monster outside, and he also helped with one of the captain level people that they were fighting. But I mean, yeah, no. Once he ran into one of the Espada, I mean, yeah, he was definitely finished. I mean, that guy was at that point in time was stronger than Ichigo, so it wasn't his fault that he got obliterated. He just happened to be in the way when the guy was making his rounds.
Yeah, I was looking for him to just get that one win. I remember talking last episode that I was hating on Chad a little bit just because I felt like he couldn't beat anyone. He got some wins under his belt.
Exactly. He got a couple wins, and you can't fault him for a guy that destroyed Ichigo as well. So that loss doesn't even count.
Yeah.
Even the main character couldn't beat him.
You could skip all the way to Aizen, I guess. But when he was fighting Aizen at the end, I feel like he actually got that win pretty easily. It was a pretty short fight.
Exactly.
Compared to some of these other shows where Goku will be fighting Frieza for 20 episodes, maybe more, and then Gohan will be fighting Cell for 20 episodes. Ichigo kind of wrapped that up pretty quick.
There is a much more built-on build-up, Bleach just get straight to the point.
I guess Urahara technically got the win.
Yes, yeah, I always liked Urahara. I always much respect him a lot. How did you feel about his backstory?
I liked him a lot. He's ultimately probably one of my favorite characters. I'd probably put him in my top 5.
Yeah, I agree with that. And did you? We didn't talk about the Visor Red's backstory, did we?
Yeah, no, because we hadn't gotten to that point in the
so
last.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I like them. I respect that they came after Aizen in the big battle.
I thought it was kind of interesting how Urahara kind of playing that entire thing out. They're like, yeah, here's this plan that's been set in motion for the last 100 years, and I'm like, well, time to head to the battlefield.
Yeah, because I was hoping they would show up, but originally they weren't there at the same time as the Soul Society was.
That's
when
true.
all the Espada and Arrancar came out of that gate.
That's true. Before we get all the way there, we need to wrap up what happened in Wako Mundo.
Okay.
All right, which one was your favorite Espada and your favorite fight out of that basically happened in the area?
My favorite Espada was probably Ulquiorra. I didn't really like how he died though. I mean, Ichigo pretty much went into this transformation that he didn't go into for any other fight.
I mean,
he completely holified, got the really long hair, went Super Saiyan 3. and he never took on that form for anybody else.
Why would you want him to take on that form for anyone else?
Well, I'm just saying, if he didn't do that, I don't think he would have beat Ulquiorra.
Oh yeah, no, he most definitely wouldn't have. But
and it was almost like it wasn't even him fighting him.
Yeah, no, it's like if Naruto went straight to the Nine-Tails Fox. Everyone knew that if he goes into that formation, he doesn't go back to being regular Naruto, because at that point, him and the Fox hated each other. The Fox was going to take control. That was another one, I guess, one form that he could take. The same thing applies here, but
which is kind of what he did when he beat Pain, right?
What's up?
That's kind of what Naruto did when he beat Pain, right?
He did no, so he only got to the eight tails. When he got to the eight tails, there was a seal that activates that allow his father to come back and replace the seal, so he wouldn't turn into the nine tails.
Yeah, but he like wasn't like conscious really when
Oh,
he like beat Pain.
oh no, no, he wasn't. I mean, but he didn't really beat him anyway. He kind of like talked him to death, and then dude like had a change of heart.
Oh yeah, when he got to Nagato.
Yeah, see, so I mean, he was beating down the six bodies, but he was fighting
Not
to lose.
not not the not the one with the almighty push. He was losing to that one.
Oh yeah, no, he was losing to that one. But I'm saying that like him fighting Pain was a losing fight even with the nine tails because like, he didn't know where his real body was at.
I just kind of felt like that's how that was like comparable to how Ichigo beat Ulquiorra.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fair comparison, but like he would not want to like obviously go into that form just willy nilly. I feel like that has some pretty dire consequences.
Yeah, but he didn't have to do that to beat Aizen. He just like had trained and he was like strong enough to beat Aizen. I would have liked if Ichigo had like trained and was strong enough to beat Ulquiorra. I didn't like how this like alternate beast inside of him came out and did all the work for him.
I
That
mean,
kind of made me like Ulquiorra more because I felt like essentially he was unbeatable. Like Ichigo had to bust out a cheat code.
I don't know, but it was against his will, and it was really off of like Orihime's wish. Uh, I mean that transformation is just like I guess like Sasuke's curse mark. I mean, obviously he's more powerful with it, but you want Sasuke with his Mangekyo Sharingan rather than just his curse mark power, if that makes sense. Like his hollow power isn't a good power, especially if he doesn't have control over it.
It just made it left me wanting more. I just wondered how strong Ukiora actually was.
There's just so much they could have done.
Oh no, yeah, Okuro was definitely the strong one. I mean, he was number four, so he was the fourth strongest one.
But I feel like he was stronger than those other three that showed up, which I guess we can get to that later. But I felt like he was stronger than those other three that were with Aizen back on back on that fake Earth.
And sure, we'll get to that. But first, I want to say I guess the perfect example. You watched Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah,
You remember when Vegeta turned into Majin Vegeta?
yeah.
Well, when he was in his Majin Vegeta form, theoretically he can go Majin Vegeta Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4. Like he can keep that form up, obviously with like that Majin persona. But he wanted to do it the right way. So he kind of like gave him that power. But that was like that's the evil energy. And that's kind of like what it is for Ichigo. Like the hollow powers are still like very much evil. So he would not want to go into those types of forms. Because he'll end up losing himself. And I don't think he would beat Aizen with that power.
I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not because he had to train a lot longer. He had
That
to
he
like
trained
train another year in that area where time moves slower.
exactly. Actually, I think it was like four times slower or something. It was a crazy number.
I think it was more than four.
Yeah, I thought he spent 10 years there. They say he trained the equivalent of 10 years.
Yeah, I thought it was like a day was a year or something. It was like something crazy. I think just a day went by.
Nah, more than a day went by.
Not in the place he was in because time moves slower. But I think Geen and Aizen were yeah, they were just walking around for like a day. They were like already on Earth. They were like
They were, they
messing
were. Yeah,
they were
this is
messing with like Tatsuki and Ichigo and all them. So it was like only a day that went by. I just forget how much slower it went by.
I think they should have. I think they should have got murdered. I think they should have died.
I mean, I'm trying to remember how they even lived. They just
Exactly.
lived. They
Exactly.
lived because
Yep.
Geen stabbed Aizen.
Yeah, that was that ended up being the third thing that happened. But like they originally led from that cuckoo guy coming and saving them. Uh
The dude with the afro.
the dude with the afro was the second one that came. Well, there was the dude that was on their earth.
Oh, the magician bunny.
Magician dude saved them the first time, and then the guy with the afro, and then Aizen. Um but how did you feel about Jin's role in that?
Um, I didn't really see it coming.
Let's see.
I don't know. I was always interested in Gin. He was one of my favorites, but I think I would have preferred if he was evil the whole time. But
Yeah. They try to pull an
I
Itachi on you.
I thought it was kind of random. They threw this backstory at you that tied it together, but I thought it was just random. I thought it would have made more sense if like Ron Giku was talking about Gin more throughout the show.
Yeah, I think see, it was my second. This is my second time watching it through. Actually, hey, I've watched a bunch of different arcs, but um, I kind of noticed the moments more when Rengenku and Jin kind of had like that on-screen chemistry, or I noticed conversations more just because I knew what happened at the end. But I think watching through it the first time, you don't really notice any of those scenes, and then all of a sudden you notice a couple of them, like two or three main ones. But then all of a sudden at the end, there's this huge backstory about like how apparently like childhood lovers, and I was like, well, it got kind of deep and kind of doesn't matter now because he's about to die. But
Yeah,
like it was
like
good.
I noticed that she was upset when he originally fighting Toshiro, like before
Mhm.
they like when they were trying to rescue Rukia, like he started fighting Toshiro.
Yes,
Like,
like
and I noticed like Rangiku was like trying to connect with him then, and then when they all like ascended when they went to Waco Mundo, right after Aizen like stabbed Ichigo or something. Like
mhm,
he got the Hokyokyu and then he like
he
teleported up.
blows up. Yeah,
I noticed then like Rangiku was like upset about that too, but like I didn't know why. They
exactly.
just like they just explained it all at the end, and I was like, I just thought it was kind of random.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a little bit random, and it was kind of they didn't make those scenes where they were together matter more. Like you saw a couple of them, but they didn't really stand out over the course of the entire show. And then I kind of felt like I was like, oh damn, he really did all this. He got himself killed because of a girl. Um, I was like, I mean,
Like the last thing
it
you're
was,
trying
it
to
was a
do.
childhood crush. I understand that in her flashback, she was done wrong. Like, yes, but then this dude harbored a hate towards this guy that didn't even know what happened. I mean, yes, Aizen was pulling the strings. He had no idea that happened at all. And I mean, he basically threw away his life for that, which kind of was kind of sad.
He like dedicated his life to trying to be a spy.
And I mean, so you know what? I would have been cool with all that had he survived. Like if he somehow survived and then just like went back to the Soul Society, um, maybe like locked up or sealed or whatever, I would have been completely okay with that. No, this dude died just for Aizen still to get sealed up like for forever. Like he died for no reason. He was just a casualty of the war.
Yeah, his death really was meaningless because he did like stun Aizen and he almost beat him, but I just knew it wasn't going to be that easy. But it looked like he actually beat Aizen,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
and
I
then
was
Aizen it made him even stronger. If he didn't do anything, I Ichigo would have mopped him even more. Like I because Aizen got like a power up when Gin did that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like, yeah, now that Hagunki, the thing had like now claimed that I'm his true master and gave him another power up.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, yeah, I mean, to me, his death was meaningless, but I did enjoy his character. I'm not going to tear him down too badly. He's dropped in my ranks a little bit when he like, not betraying the Aizen part, but his reason for doing it.
Yeah, I was always just interested in his character because I thought he was very mysterious, and even there's even a part where Ichigo was fighting him, and he said, Normally when I cross swords with someone, I can like get a sense of what they're feeling." But he said he had no idea what Gin was feeling when they were fighting.
Exactly. I thought that was so interesting because, like, I mean, how well he was able to hide his true intentions. Where, like, Aizen suspected him a little bit, but like, no one really knew what he was doing, what was going on. And I mean, Toes was pretty easy. So
Did he turned into a bug?
I was like, damn, they really did my dude dirty like that.
I thought it was he had a very scary laugh when he first turned into the bug because he was talking to I forget the Fox captain's name, but he was talking to that guy, and he's like, I can see now, I can see. And
Yeah, that was
his laugh when he was just talking about how he could like see for the first time in forever. He was like going mad.
when he made that transformation. I was like, yeah, he's done. There's no way
Sajin,
to live. What was his name?
Sajin, Komamura.
Yeah, Kamuro. Can't really say his name,
Yeah,
but no. I mean, I knew he was
that was
done.
all I really had to say about him. It's just
Yeah.
I thought his laughter was really scary when he was just like, I can see now.
Oh, wait. What do you think about Yami or Yami going from 10 to 0?
I thought that was dumb.
You thought I was dumb?
I thought that was so dumb because Ichigo like chopped his arm off before Ichigo was even strong. Like Ichigo got so much stronger by the end of the show, and he chopped his arm off so easily when he met him the first time. And then they're trying to flip it like, oh, Yami's actually the strongest Espada. I was like,
Well, wait. But like, you have to understand that, like, in this sense, the strongest Espada and the most powerful Espada are two different things. Like, they were basically giving their numbers based on the amount of Raitsu they had, or they can like, yeah, basically how much they could produce. So like, he might be the strongest, but that doesn't necessarily mean he would beat the first or second Espada. Like, I mean, the second Espada, like, you couldn't get near the dude. He was literally the king of Hueco Mundo because he ages people. Like, I mean, his
I thought
skills
he had the coolest power of all the
exactly
Espadas.
like there was a reason why he was the king of Hueco Mundo, even though he was the number two Espada. So like the rankings were just based solely on how much Raito they could produce which is probably why you feel like Ulquiorra can beat like any of the top three. Yeah, he might not have been like the strongest like raw power, but that doesn't necessarily mean he couldn't beat one of the top three Espadas.
I feel like when he grew his wings, or he said no, none of the other Espadas could take on that form or whatever.
Yeah, because basically they gave up their in order to become a Ron card, they gave up their healing powers. Um, for raw strength, which is why you see them like become more powerful. But he kept a portion of that and gave up raw power instead. So that's why he's the only one that can make that transformation. I forgot what the logistics of it was, but it was something relating to that.
Who is your favorite Espada? Was it?
Yeah, it was definitely Ulquiorra. And then my second was Grimjow. Oh, actually, no, wait. My second was Nell, and then my third is Grimjow.
Dude, what happened to her? They dropped her out of the story. What happened to? They were fighting Noitora, and then what happened? Where'd she go?
So, wait, do you want me to spoil it for you?
I don't remember. So yeah, I mean, I finished watching it.
Oh no, yeah, they don't bring her up again in the anime show. It's only in the manga.
Oh, yeah, you can tell me. I just didn't even know what they did
Yeah,
not bring her up ever again.
they don't.
They
So
didn't even show her leave. I thought she was there like watching the fight. And then after Ichigo or it wasn't even Ichigo, after Kenpachi beats Noitora, they
yeah,
just
Kenpachi. See, he made his reappearance again. Did you like his battle?
in the dub, they changed the voice actor of him
Oh shit.
partway through the show, and I liked the first guy that was doing his voice better.
I wonder. I don't think I've ever watched it completely in dub. I think I've only watched it in sub because every time I watched the dub, I didn't like the dub actors in the first place.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I mean, his fight was still pretty cool though, outside of the voice actor.
I'm trying to like think of how to describe it. I feel like the second voice guy was maybe a little bit more arrogant.
More arrogant, like
He was just talking about the way he would talk is just that like he's the strongest.
oh, he
Whereas
kind
I
of
feel like the first voice actor that portrayed him, they just portrayed him as like always wanting a challenge.
all right. First guy I always wanted to challenge, but the second guy kind of like he sounded stuck up.
He just sounded like he knew he was the strongest. Whereas the other guy, whereas the first one was like he seemed more intrigued about throwing his life on the line.
I'm
He
about to
was.
watch to see if I can listen to the voice actors. I'd be interested to see that.
I don't really know how to describe it. I just know I like the first guy better.
This guy better. I mean, was
He,
that the only voice they changed, or was there other ones?
that was the only one I noticed.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I like the rivalry him and Byakuya had a little bit in there when they were both attacking the Espada
Who do you think would win?
in a fight. That I mean, that'd honestly be pretty tough. I don't want to spoil it for you, but that's also in the manga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the whenever
You
happening.
can just tell me. I would either look it up or just have you tell me. I'm not going to read the manga.
So what actually happened was something happened around the time I guess they were taking a break from Bleach, but like it got terrible ratings at the end of it, so they ended up canceling the show but continuing the manga. Um, but the manga goes throughout the rest of the story, and the story is actually done. But it's gotten like so much popularity that they actually might animate the last arc, which is called the 1,000 War arc. It could be a continuation, but this is just like got popular like a few months ago. So this has been like 5, 6 years where they didn't know they were bringing the show back or not. There was always rumors, but like nothing was set in stone. Now it appears to possibly be heading up more steam, and it can come out in like 2022. So and then if they do animate it, I'm definitely gonna watch it because I read up on that arc and it's super interesting. And I think it actually might even be better than the Waco Mundo arc.
What was your favorite fight in that arc,
You know what? I think it was
or some
when
of them? Because there was a lot of good fights.
there's a lot of good fights. I think one of my
Well,
favorites
I
was
shouldn't say a lot. There was a couple good fights.
we went from a lot to a couple. Nah, I think Mayuri's fight when he came and he saved Ishida and the other guy. I think I might be right.
Renji,
Huh?
Ishida, and Renji.
Yeah, Renji. I forget they made him a background character after the Society arc, but
I thought
he's
that fight was boring until Mayuri showed up.
yeah. Only the part where he showed up. Like when he showed up, that was like, oh shit, he really fucked him up and
Oh,
put him.
actually, I think he might have had the best kill of the whole show.
I was like, bro, when I was like, I was savage what he did to that guy. I was
Yeah,
like, he really had the worst death in the entire show. Like, I
yeah,
literally had to rewatch that scene again. I was like, I mean, that was tough.
yeah. For those that don't remember, he pretty much made it so that Espada. What was he? The ninth one? I think he was
I
the
think
ninth.
I think he was the ninth.
Yeah, they made it so the ninth Espada like experienced time different than everyone else. He experienced to the point where like 1 second going by was equivalent to like 100 years or some shit. And and then he just slowly like brings the sword towards the guy, and it seems like it's taken an eternity for that sword to go to his face. And then he finally impale him, or does he just leave him there? I don't even remember.
No, I think he does impale him, but like when it shows you when it jumps forward, the dude's like an old man and it's like just getting to his skin.
Yeah,
But that's tough. That is a horrible way to go out. Like that
yeah,
was
he's just
I
sitting in his
actually
head, in his mind for like an eternity.
yeah, after this podcast, I'm actually about to go back and rewatch that fight or that scene because
Yeah,
that
he's
was
just begging for his death.
yeah, I would be looking for my death too, but that was tough.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
crazy because literally only 1 second went by, but for him it was an eternity.
it was terrible. And I
This,
mean, I'm trying to think that fight was one of my favorites just because of the ending, and I do like Mayuri's fights. Um, I'm trying to think.
yeah,
They
he's
gave
probably one of my favorite captains. Probably top three for sure.
I think mine is Kenpachi then Mayuri, and then the I actually do like the fifth captain, but I forgot his name.
I probably like Kenpachi, Mayuri, and then the fourth captain. I'm trying to remember her name. Unohana.
Urahara. I like Shunsui.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him, like how he was laid back and chill the whole show. I thought his dialogue was cool. Like there'd be something crazy going on, and he'll be like, "Oh, someone else is already there" or something, or he'd just be like
Mhm.
chilling, not really too worried about anything. But his only real fight that I can remember the whole series was against the number one Espada, and I thought that was very underwhelming.
Yeah, it was. See, and the thing is, though, it's like their personalities played out in that fight. Like none of them really wants to fight. None of them, neither one of them really wants to go all out. And I mean,
I didn't like how
because
that
they
guy's
both had,
guns were talking.
was that?
I didn't like how that guy's guns were talking.
I thought that added an interesting aspect to it.
I could have done without that. I would have liked if they like remember in Yu Yu Hakusho the Toguro brothers, the elder Toguro, he would like turn into the sword,
Yes, I do remember that.
but the sword wasn't talking. He would just turn into like a sword, and then he was like an inanimate object at that point. I would have liked if like that girl could have morphed into weapons, but like I didn't like that she was. They were like fighting with each other. They were like contradicting each other. I would have liked if they were more synchronized.
I think it made it for like an interesting dialogue. I would have liked them agree more, but like the fact that they were talking back and forth, this having a casual conversation battle, it's like the comedy relief Bleach was known for throughout the show.
Or if just he could hear her talking to him.
That could be interesting.
But when like Shunsui was like, "Wait, your guns are talking," like I thought that was dumb.
Well, to be fair though, we have to remember, like they how they all represented like an aspect of death, and his was loneliness, right? Well, it makes sense while he has like someone to help him like not be lonely, but like it wouldn't make sense that they can only communicate with each other because there has to be someone to recognize that he's not being lonely. So it was interesting that like other people hear the guns talk because they can now see that that guy isn't lonely. Whereas if they could only hear him, he'd be talking to himself and they think he was a nutcase.
Or if they like morphed, because they were originally one person. If they like morphed back into one person, I just wasn't a fan of the
See, I thought
the
that's
talking gun.
I thought that's
And
what
then
they
I
were
didn't
going
even
to
think he was that powerful. Like I thought Ulquiorra was more powerful than that guy.
Uh, I think no. I mean, the potential for that guy's power, like when he said he's shooting you up with pieces of his soul. I mean, the dude could fight forever. Like make no mistake, if he had to go all out, I think he would have handled every other Espada.
Maybe Shunsui was just making him look not as good as he was. Because I felt like Shunsui was just dodging everything he shot at him.
Yeah, I mean, Shinzui was also a bad matchup for him. But Shinzui, because I mean, even during the fight, he was like, "Damn, why do I have to go up against like the strongest captain? I just want to sit back and relax." But and Shinzui is at this point, I believe, the strongest captain. So he did draw like the hardest fight.
They never really showed that white-haired guy fight anybody.
I mean, he fought Stark a little bit. He was he had his weapons that took in one element and shot it back at him.
Yeah, he like deflected it at him, or I think.
Yeah, when he was shooting the Cerro or whatever, he was shooting back at him.
And then I didn't really understand Shunsui's power. He like could make rules in the world.
The sword makes the rules.
Who does?
The sword.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was weird.
I thought it was very interesting because it like I think it went with his personality. So it's like he's holding these two swords that he doesn't really want to fight. He doesn't really care, and the swords are also making rules to like an arbitrary game. But then the weird thing is like the game also affects him, so he has to play to the rules as well. It was interesting. But I mean, I do think overall that fight underwhelmed compared to the rest of them, and also Halibel's fight as well. Number three Espada. I don't think we got to see what her potential was because she was facing like the worst possible opponent for her as well.
I don't know if it was the worst possible matchup. It was just kind of a boring matchup. I felt like I felt like it was a Pokemon battle where like both of them are ice types, and you just got to see like which one comes
No,
out
no,
on
no,
top.
no. But she wasn't an ice type though. She was a water type.
Well, ice versus water, they're still not going to be good against each other.
Yes, they are. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, ice is literally no water's worst matchup is ice. Like, you can't get any worse than that.
You'd want like an electric type in there to fuck them both up.
I think ice would fuck up electric type.
Well, not in Pokemon.
I'm pretty sure Pokemon. I would be willing to wager on that. I think
Dude,
if someone
I will bet you. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon like
bet,
recently.
I'm willing to make that.
All right, what are we betting?
Let me look up ice over electric Pokemon first.
So you want to look up the answer before we bet?
That ain't right.
Yeah, because I don't know. It just seems like ice would beat the shit out of a electric Pokemon.
No, I can tell you right now. This isn't good against him either, so never mind.
Exactly.
Well, you were saying that it would be a bad matchup. It just doesn't do anything. And if it's an ice water type, then it does fuck them up.
I mean, yeah, the electric is just at a disadvantage here. I don't.
It's not a disadvantage at all because ice isn't good against it. They just don't they just aren't good against each other, or they don't do anything against it. They do normal damage against each other.
No one damage against each other. Well, either way, no, but being a water like a spot or whatever she was, her worst possible matchup out of all the captains, because none of them have like the other Pokemon elements. They have their own superpowers. Out of all of them, Toshiro was literally the worst draw she could have like picked. She would have had much more luck against anyone else. It would have been a much better fight.
I feel like they were both using each other's powers against him. Like she would throw some water at him, and then he would like freeze it. But then she was also doing stuff to his ice and like turning it into water.
Yes, I mean, she was like, not to say like none of her moves weren't effective. It was just that like
I felt like none of his moves were. I feel like she was actually winning that fight.
really, the impression I got that was it was only a matter of time. Like the more water she produced, the more he could freeze. That's what I mean. She was fighting a losing battle. Like no matter how like powerful her attacks were, the more water she produced, the more ice he could produce. So it looked like she was winning the battle, but to me, she was playing with a disadvantage the entire time. She was just giving him more ammo.
Yeah, but she was the way I saw it was she was also turning his ice into her own ammo. She was turning his ice like into water. They were just going back and forth, and I thought she was stronger. He had to bring in two visors to help him. It was 3-on-1. She was taking him out. She pretty much smacked him down to the ground, and he was on the ground. Like, wasn't he like thinking about Momo? He like was passed out. He like got beat, and he had to
I
like.
mean, it's because he was distracted. He's still a kid, but once he was focused, and his whole plan was to like essentially turn every single thing into ice. It took him a while to get it set up. That's why you saw that match dragged on. It was just a setup for his final move. So the more water she produced,
He froze her, and then she eventually. Well, I guess no, maybe Wonder Weiss got her out. I'm trying to remember how she broke out of the ice.
oh, I think Wonder Wise did break her out.
Okay, so then I guess he did ultimately win, but I think it was 3-on-1 when he did win. So he wasn't winning on his own.
Might say, yeah, I'm pretty sure Wonder Wise got her out, and then Aizen killed her.
Yeah, the Aizen killed her. I mean, maybe it was 3-on-1 after she broke out of the ice.
I think me.
I'm trying to remember if Toshiro did that by himself. I don't know. I wasn't like too interested in that fight. I didn't think that was that good a fight.
It was alright. What about the captain's fight?
Which one?
Head captain.
The
Captain
head
Yamamoto.
captain versus Aizen.
He had him versus Aizen, and then he fought Wonder Vice for a little bit.
Yeah, and he also killed Halibel's minions.
Oh yeah, I mean that was slight work for him.
I mean, I thought Aizen kind of wrecked him a little bit. He outsmarted him.
Yeah, I mean
Because he's like, what would happen if you gathered up all that power or whatever?
that was
and,
tough.
and then let it out in one blow, and then he was pretty much like, "You bastard," because he
I was
outsmarted
like,
him.
damn. I mean, Aizen knew what he had to do. He literally came with something that could neutralize those flames. That was the dude's only job. Hey, look, eat these flames and spit it back out. His only job. And he did it to perfection. Ain't nothing he could do about that.
Yeah, so I feel like he just he planned for that fight and he beat him.
It was a draw. I think
What do you mean? Aizen walked away unscathed.
it was very unfortunate. I wanted I thought Yamamoto easily could have like ended it as soon as they got there, and then go ahead and took Aizen out and like prevented all those casualties.
He wasn't worried about the head captain at all, as the impression I got after his planning. I mean, he had to plan for it, but after that, he wasn't worried at all.
He wasn't worried about
Whereas when he fought like Ichigo, he wasn't worried, but then Ichigo like started making him sweat. He's like, wait, how did that happen? Like, why is it? He's like, how did that guy grab my face and teleport me across the the earth?
I'm trying to figure out like why it took him so long to figure out what was happening. Like he was like, "Oh, this dude can't feel my spiritual pressure." He gets smacked across the map, and then he's like, "All right, I know how that happened, but this dude still can't feel my spiritual pressure because I can't feel his." Gets smacked a couple more times, and he doesn't realize the difference in power. Like I feel like if you're that strong, you should know that like you're the one that's weaker than the dude you're facing.
He's probably never been weaker to anyone. It was feeling unfamiliar to him.
I mean, it was a feeling unfamiliar to him, but like he has to understand that I'm saying that like the fact that he is so much more powerful than anyone, he has to recognize if a power level is greater than him. Otherwise, it's like, what power level are you really at if you can't recognize someone that's stronger than you? That's weak. That's weak. I feel like you should.
I guess that's why the fight was over so quick.
Yeah, I mean, and then, bro. All right, how do you feel about Ichigo using that final Genso Tensho?
Did he even have to do that? Like he beat
Exactly. The $1 billion question. Did he have to do that?
because he was already whooping his ass.
Exactly. I saw no reason. It was cool that he learned that move, and the animation was cool, and the way he like
It didn't even work.
it did it at the end of it. It still didn't work. Like he got
Urahara had to like come save the day at the end.
What's that?
I said Urahara had to come save the day.
Yeah, I was like, after all that, the move still didn't work. Yes, at that point in time, the Hongoku was like starting to reject him as the owner. He would have killed him before that happened. Ichigo was a human. He still has some sort of power. He would have mopped him. He would have died if Urahara didn't show up.
Or I guess Urahara saved the day like 10 moves ago.
Yeah, I mean, the dude was really playing. Everyone was playing checkers. He was playing chess.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he was playing chess. I mean, he had planned for this well in advance. That was my monitor. But he planned for that well in advance.
Were there any other Waco Mundo fights you liked?
I mean,
we haven't even talked about my two favorite ones.
Oh, we didn't talk about yours. Besides that, they were all pretty good. I mean, I did enjoy Ichigo's fights in Waco Mundo. But besides that, I think my favorite fights actually happened where they were facing the Iran on the outside.
I like the Waco Mundo fights better than those ones. I guess I did like the second Espada, but I didn't think Soy Phone was like strong enough to beat him.
What? Hey, don't sleep on Soy Phone. There's a reason.
Trying to remember who beat him. I'm trying to remember who beat him. I know that other Vizard came and helped the big Vizard that had the same power as Orihime.
Yeah, he's the one that beat him.
Okay. It just took him a while to beat him because I remember he did like something and then he still busted out of it, but then I guess he did another move that actually killed him.
Yeah, when the second Espada used his powerful
he did something with his arm. He like sacrificed his arm or something to beat him.
Yeah, he hit him with his power, and that was gonna like I don't know what his power does. It basically just melts the skin off the bones or whatever. It's gonna make it destroy. But he basically teleported his arm into the dude and used his own power to kill him.
Yeah, that was the only way to beat him was just with his own stuff,
Yeah.
with his own power.
And
I
what is
don't
it?
know how else he would have lost.
And he used his last life to try to kill Aizen, but he didn't reach him.
Yeah, yeah. But in Waco Mundo, I actually my two favorite fights were actually um the Kuchiki clan, both of their fights.
I'd say Rukia's fight. I was gonna say they gave her respect. Um,
That guy had a cool power. I thought that was a cool Espada power.
I was weak. I was like, damn, this coward out here hiding behind somebody else's face. And then I thought Rukia was even weaker for falling for it. I was like, bro,
Not necessarily that part, but it reminded me of we watched that anime Charlotte, where that one guy was just absorbing everyone's powers at the
he
end.
was, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much what that Espada's power was. He would just absorb everyone that he had defeated.
That is true. That's true. But I was like,
So
bro,
had he defeated Rukia and then got her power and then somehow maybe defeated one of the captains, because I mean, getting Rukia's power on top of all the other powers he had, he'd be pretty strong. If he
you would
somehow
be,
beat a captain, got a captain's power, he could have just kept absorbing everyone's power if
that's true.
he had
But
lasted long enough.
I don't think he would have beat a captain though. He still would have got demolished just like Byakuya did him.
Well, Rukia beat him.
Wait, did it? No, yeah, Rukia beat him. Byakuya beat the guy with the multiple arms. That was the weird guy with the eye.
Yeah, and he could control his limbs. That was I think that was those were my two favorite fights. I think that might have been my favorite fight.
That fight was funny.
Because I liked how Byakuya was so quick just to chop his own limbs.
Yeah, so that was another one of those fights where I was like, bro, did you really have to do that? Like, he clearly did not
He
have to put
definitely had to
himself.
do that.
No, 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 no. He didn't. The fight should have never gotten that point where he had to sacrifice his arm and legs. He was obviously stronger than the dude. He could have finished him off easily. There was no reason to go that far into the fight. His fight should not have lasted that long, is basically what I'm saying.
Um, yeah, because the whole time he was talking like I'm way stronger than this guy, but he let that guy like get off some good attacks. He should
Yeah,
have
I
just
mean,
he should have just finished him right away.
it got to a point where he had to sacrifice his arm. Did he have to sacrifice his leg as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think he chopped like the whole left side of his body or something.
Exactly. He had to sacrifice the whole side of his body just to win the fight. It didn't need to go that far.
He didn't know what the guy's power was. I guess he was
I
not
mean,
Russian.
after the first one, though.
After the first one, he did.
No, actually, wait, hold up, hold up. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. He didn't know what this guy's power was. He's so much stronger than him. He doesn't need to know what his power is. Just demolish him, kill him, bankai, thrash his limbs up in like the first 30 seconds. No reason to drag that fight out.
Well, he was pulling some cheap tricks. Remember, he took control of Rukia, so he had to like plan around that.
I mean, Rukia could have been a casualty of the war.
Yeah, but based off what he did, she didn't have to be.
Okay, okay, that's true. I mean, but like once he got her back, then demolish him.
And that other guy showed up too. That Squad 4 guy that was working at the convenience store on on Earth.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember his name either, but yeah, that guy like pretty much stumbled into the fight.
Yeah, I mean he's a reliable character. Like if you need to be healed, he's there.
Yeah, but he like had to fight around that guy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like when you have your healer on your team, you at least need a healer. Yeah, he had
So
a like.
so the other guy was being a weasel. He was being a snake. He was
I'll give him that.
he was pulling some cheap tricks.
I mean, he survived longer than he should have, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, he wouldn't have survived if he wasn't using his surroundings to his advantage.
I mean, I feel like Byakuya should have just been more powerful enough to make sure he didn't use the surroundings to his advantage and take care of him.
Yeah, but I guess Byakuya wasn't trying to make the first move. There's like a lot of fights where you'll watch the two characters, they're just kind of in a standoff. They don't want to make like the first move.
Yeah, because I mean, his next fight was kind of like that too when he fought that video game character.
Oh, are you talking about in the last season?
Yeah, like when they all got put into like the video game levels, and he had to fight the dude. I forgot what that dude's power was.
I thought that was just Toshiro that was fighting that guy.
No, no. So Toshiro was fighting that guy, but they were all inside the game. But he was inside the game.
Ah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
I forgot what room and what that guy's power was.
That guy was he would put false memories in you.
Was it? That was interesting.
I didn't hate that arc. I didn't think it was too bad. I actually liked one of the girls they introduced. That pink-haired girl they introduced.
The one with the most personality.
Yeah, Riruka.
Yeah, she was pretty funny. I think she was my favorite one out of all the Fullbringers as well.
Yeah. So I
She
like
was,
I like that character that they introduced.
I was say, and then did you see how they tried to bring in Chad? How his power.
I did like Chad in that arc. That was like the one arc I like Chad in because he was rolling with them before Ichigo was.
Exactly. See, he went and figured out what his ticket to his power was, the logical reasons behind it. Um, I don't think Orihime was really in there because her power was different.
No, I mean she was in that arc, but she wasn't like part of that group. She was what was she doing?
Well, I think she was just there to get also false memories implanted in her. Um, the one negative I have to say about that arc is the way Ichigo acted to me was uncharacteristic based on what he's gone through throughout the story, if that makes sense.
At which part
Like while all
specifically?
his friends was like implanted with false memories, and he knew that they were implanted with false memories, he was still just like, what do I do? Why is everything going so wrong? And he was,
Yeah, yeah, I didn't like that. I agree. I was kind of I was I was enjoying that arc up until that part
yeah, he was
because
freaking out, and I was like,
you should have
bro,
known that was what was gonna happen. Like
yeah,
exactly. Like there was probably no other way that would have went.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, you already know what's happening. You know the reason, and you know what you have to do to like fix it. And he's still freaking out. And I'm just like, bro, I seen you. Like, you just use a final Gensugo Tensho. You fought like all these Iran cards. What you've gone through, like up until this point, this is a minuscule thing. You can easily solve this problem. Come on now.
And he did. I don't even remember him trying to tell anyone like, "Hey, this guy is like tricking you." He was just like
Yeah, like
he was just like
especially
free. He was just having like an internal struggle and freaking out.
exactly, especially in the house, like when he was just yelling at him, or he was freaking out by all of them, and they're all ganging up on him. I'm just like, bro, you know they have false memories. Just like tell them what it is, just
Yeah,
for
so
him to
I,
like,
I didn't I didn't really think that finished strong, and it was kind of unfortunate that that was the last that was the last arc, and then it also just didn't finish that strong.
yeah. I mean, it definitely mellowed out and finished a little bit lower than what it was at its peak. Uh, I mean, you saw. I don't know if you understood, but like, yeah, it kind of did remind me of that bout arc that we watched, but like, it was more interesting than that. But they
They
brought in
used
like,
I think they used the same voice in the dub for Karya and the guy that was the former Soul Reaper, substitute Soul Reaper.
that could be why I was getting those vibes.
I don't know if they did in the sub, but in the
Honestly.
dub, I think they definitely did, and they even I mean, it could just be their voices being the same, but I feel like they also kind of drew them similarly.
Yeah, it was a very similar style, very similar vibes to me when I watched Arc. Although to me, it was done better than the Bound Arc. And
Yeah, I thought,
what also was
dude, the
was
bound arc almost got me to drop this show.
and I'm like, I told you didn't have to watch it, and I told you I see you at the end. Um, I was completely up to you.
So, anything else on Bleach you want to talk about?
Uh, oh, so if you had to choose, who do you think would be most likely Ichigo would end up with, Orihime or Rukia?
Um, I just feel like Orihime is like too much of an airhead.
Dang.
I mean, there's times in that last season where she'll be like, doing something weird, and then Ichigo will show up, and then she'll just be like, "Oh, hi, Ichigo, how are you?"
See,
And
that's
then
I'm telling you, you gotta watch the sub.
yeah, it could have just been, maybe it was just the dub portraying her that way, but or
I
you
want to
said
say
or Rukia. I don't think Rukia is like. I would rather see him with Rukia, I guess.
it's interesting. Well, it was because for some reason, every time I watched it, I always thought the romance between Orihime and Ichigo was kind of like obvious. But Rob was saying he thought it was between him and Rukia. And I was like, I never got that vibe watching them on the screen. Like maybe like the first episode when they met each other, but it was after the first arc, it was clear that uh Rukia and Ichigo were just like sister and brother.
Yeah, we talked about this on the last one. I don't think he ends up with would end up with either of them. I wouldn't rather see him with either of them.
So I
I
hate to
mean,
be the bearer of
maybe
bad
like
news.
Orihime's like she's always healing them. Like they have good synergy like that, and then maybe as time goes on, I mean, they were friends before their adventure even started, so I could see them. I could see them getting to. I guess this contradicts what I just said, but I could see them getting together more than
I would say, well,
Ichigo
depending
and
on how you
Rukia.
look at it, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Huh?
I said, depending on how you look at it, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
What do you mean?
I mean, I can tell you what happened, but
Oh well, in the anime, he doesn't end up with either of them. But I don't know how it goes in the manga.
I say it goes a little bit different in the manga.
I mean, I'm not gonna read it. You can tell me what happens.
I mean, but they might animate it.
All right, you can tell me later then.
I say like there's still a chance that like if they animate it, then I mean I'm definitely gonna watch it, but I already know how the anime ends because I already read up on it.
Yeah, I just feel like Rukia. I don't think Rukia sees him like that,
I agree with that. I don't think
and I
Ichigo
don't,
sees
and
it.
I don't think Ichigo sees either of them like that. And then Orihime definitely like sees Ichigo as a romantic partner. So if anything, I feel like Orihime would get her way since Rukia is not even trying.
Kind of like a Naruto Sakura Hinata situation.
Yeah, and then Hinata gets her way.
Yeah, except in this situation, Ichigo doesn't like Rukia either, so it's not unrequited love.
Yeah, I just feel like if anything, like Renji is probably more interested in Rukia than anybody.
Funny you should say that. But I mean, I think that's really all I have for the show. Um, I still think that it is better than Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh no, not at all. I wouldn't even put Bleach in like my top 10.
That's sad because Bleach is in my top 10. I think it's right at number 10 actually.
There was just so many parts that I thought were kind of slow. Some of the fights I wasn't even interested in, like that Toshiro versus Halibel. Like I didn't really care about that fight.
Oh man, see, I
I
really
did.
like
I didn't really
Toshiro.
like Shunsui versus the number one Espada. I thought that was very underwhelming.
That was a little bit underwhelming. I give it
I
that.
did like Shinji. We didn't really talk about him at all, but
He
we
was
don't even have to really say much. He wasn't in too many fights. I did like his fight with Aizen.
that was tough. He was like, yeah, I control like one or three of your senses, and he's like, well, shit, I control all the fucking senses.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, he
was
just made it so like when you're playing a video game and the controls are like inverted. He would just make it like left is right and or up is down, down is up.
yeah, but his I mean his one a different
Everything
his
was like mirrored kind of.
huh?
Everything was mirrored kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool Bankai.
That was a pretty good power.
And they just made all of them captains at the end of the show, like not like the head captain had never banished them or anything. Like none of that had ever happened.
I mean, it's like it's like, oh shit, you're actually telling the truth. Welcome back. I mean, to them though, 100 years probably isn't that long. The dude has been the head captain for 1,000 years, so he's done that 10 times.
Yeah, it seems like they smoothed it over pretty quick. It was
I
just
mean,
kind of just like like the the Geen backstory. They just kind of brushed over it, like, oh, this is what's happening.
Yeah, they brushed over it. I do think that they moved on pretty quick. They was welcoming to Soul Society. Um, I would have liked to have heard that conversation. Like, hey, look, we're sorry for like banishing you and not believing you for 1/10 of my natural life. But hey, I don't make the rules. I was just watching it.
Who would you say are your top characters overall?
It would have to be. It's hard because these people get limited screen time. But number one is still Kenpachi. I think number two is Mayuri. And I think number three, oddly enough, I think now it would be Ichigo's dad. I like this comedy relief, and I ended up liking his backstory. The scenes that he wasn't in wasn't too bad. I enjoyed them. I wish they would have dove more into that.
I did like Ichigo's sisters. I thought it was cool. Not as like my favorite characters, but as I did like that they were just included in the last season.
I like the
And there was like
dark.
a little bit of a time skip, so you saw them like grow up a little bit.
I like the dark one more. The dark haired one, the black haired one.
Yeah, I guess she had more. She was more in tune with her powers.
Yeah.
I thought the younger one was sweeter though. She was always like staying up late for him, and then she would get pissed when he like ignored her.
I mean, she had a little something, but like, yeah, she was definitely the least important sister.
Yeah, I mean she didn't play a big role in the show. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would.
neither one of them really did, but like to me, the she had a worse personality, didn't get as much screen time, fairly unimportant.
Well, the black haired sister was like showing up at Urahara's place at the end.
They were he had she had some chemistry with Jintan, I think was his name.
Was
The
that
guy with the red hair.
the big dude?
No, the guy with the red hair and the bat.
Oh yeah, they showed them at the end too. The
So
other girl with the bangs was like don't get
she was beating up the
don't
Espada. I was like, oh shoot, she got some power in her. Unfortunately,
wait,
it
which
didn't last
spot it?
long.
She had like a little rocket launcher thing, right?
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember who she did that on.
It wasn't on the spot. It was like somebody like between 11 through 20 or something like that.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I remember that. Yeah, definitely
Oh,
Kenpachi's the best character. I think everybody else is like a distant second.
damn, not even Byakuya,
I liked Byakuya
even Ulquiorra.
when I did like Ulquiorra. I'd put him second, I guess. So it goes Kenpachi, Ulquiorra, maybe Ikkaku.
Ikkaku, he did a lot with his screen time. I'll give him that. I wish they would have gave him more wins. They didn't have to make him go out and lose like that.
They gave him a loss against. Yeah, he was the only one that like lost his post when
Yeah, he was. I think he's the one that got the almost the most losses. He didn't really win one. He lost to Ichigo. Um,
he busted out his Bankai on this one Aran car.
sure. So he got one win, three losses.
Well, he just lost to Ichigo. He lost his last fight at the end.
And I'm pretty sure he lost somewhere in the middle doing something.
He also, I remember we were talking last episode. There was like this filler episode where there was this hollow that could make clones of itself, and they had to like kill all of the clones.
Possibly. I really don't remember any of the fillers. Except,
Okay.
except the
Yeah,
one
but
where they
he like Rangiko was like struggling against this thing, and then Ikkaku showed up and killed it like immediately.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember that. Okay, I do remember that.
I think he might have been 2-2.
Man, either way, he they definitely made sure they highlighted when he lost the fight. They didn't do that to the other characters.
Yeah, but I liked him too. Um, so I think those are my three. But everybody else is like maybe Ichigo's four. I did like Ichigo.
Ichigo was decent. I decided to rework it because I'm now remembering more characters. It was definitely like
Or I like my Mayuri
Kenpachi.
too. That'd probably round out my five. I'd put him ahead of Ichigo though. I put Ichigo at five.
Actually, yeah, mine would be Kenpachi or Urahara.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, no, of course.
exactly. I'm starting to remember the characters now, so he's definitely my number two.
Yeah, Urahara is definitely way up there, ahead of Ichigo, ahead of Mayuri, probably ahead of Ikkaku. Yeah, he's probably number three.
So mine would go Kenpachi, Urahara, Mayuri.
Where do you put Ulquiorra?
Ulquiorra might be number 5.
Oh
And
dang,
I'm going to actually go with I forgot what the black cat's what her name was.
Yoyorichi.
Yurichi. I'm going to Yurichi number 4. Oh, did I like Grimjob more than Ulquiorra?
No,
He was funny. Like I enjoyed. He came out there. He was like, "Yo, this guy Ichigo, he's my rival," and that was that. After that, it was like, "Damn, Grim John Ichigo, that's what it is." He made sure to make that a point every time he was about to fight him.
I just didn't like how Tozen cut his arm off so
Yeah,
easily.
he baited him in doing that as well. Yokio and Grim John, I say it's a toss up 5 and 6.
I think I would just go Kenpachi, Ulquiorra, Urahara, and then everybody else is Ikkaku, and then everybody else is like whatever. Yeah, but this is the only show I've actually used a filler list for, which I might use them in the future because I don't think I could have watched the show without it. I watched all of Dragon Ball Z without a filler list. I dropped Naruto. I don't even think I would have finished it with a filler list because I just thought Kaguya was such a ridiculous character that they introduced. So I don't even think I would have finished Naruto with the filler list, but every other anime I've watched, I haven't used a filler list, but I think this one needed it.
I mean, this one doesn't need it. I use it with One Piece as well. I definitely recommend using it on shonen shows just because they're longer and they will have like their filler arcs and their filler episodes. But like most like 12, 24 episode anime, you don't need it. Like ReZero, you don't need it at all.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan, don't need it. Psychopath, don't need it.
Which we're going to be doing that next, right?
Yes, I'm very interested to see if I still remember the second season how I did like the first time I watched it.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the second one. I watched the first episode. I just remember they they like cut out like the characters I was most interested in, but I'll uh I'll watch. I'll give it like a true chance.
So, unbeknownst to me, I was talking to Rob a few days ago, and we were actually talking about Psychopaths randomly. Apparently, the second season got a new director for the show, and he basically said that like the new director went back on a lot of things the first director did, which is why it feels different. Which is why I'm interested to see if I can notice those differences while I'm rewatching the show.